Scott Davis and his wife lived down in the Redlands. Beautiful, quiet.
Scruffy, come on.
But being remote has a drawback. It's where people throw out their animals.
We have literally saved and found homes for and kept hundreds of animals.
Many dogs, tortoises that have become the family pets, and 10 years ago, a puppy was dumped on the road that Scott's friends named.
She is just precious. Well, that's what we call her.
Then in February, Scott says something baffling happened. As he was bringing his boat onto the property, Scott let the 10-year-old Precious play near the canal. A boy came riding by on his bike.
He stuck his leg out. She bit him. I witnessed it. I saw it. I was right there. And it was quite shocking to me as well, I'll admit.
The boy had one bite mark from the mouth of the dog. Scott quickly picked up the boy, and when his parents, who had been 40 yards behind, came up, Scott offered to pay their medical bills. Miami-Dade Animal Services then came out to inspect Precious.
He took some photos of her, told us that he would be demanding a 10-day quarantine period for her at the house.
Since the county report said the investigation was completed and it was the first time Precious had ever attacked anyone, Scott thought it was over. 30 days later, police officers surrounded his property.
And it was so ridiculous, Patrick, that I had neighbors calling me. One of my neighbors could not get by. There were so many police cars.
Scott was surprised to find out the county had gone to court and gotten a judge to sign an order to confiscate Precious. And they were given the right to euthanize the animal pending the outcome of the investigation.
This dog is like a child to me. I've had this dog for a decade.
If the thought of Precious being killed over one mistake broke Scott's heart, what was discovered after he hired noted animal advocate Lauren Peffer stunned him.
We've got a government that's conducting a shadow hearing with only one side of the evidence, hearsay evidence at that.
Turns out Animal Services had gone to court and gotten 3 separate orders, signed by 2 judges on 3 different days, backed by an affidavit signed by an officer swearing to the facts in the case.
Gary Boyette signed a verified complaint stating that there were 2 attacks. And it's not valid. Again, he wasn't there. There's multiple bites, and the child was bleeding, and it kept biting after he picked up the kid. Like that, none of this is true.
Scott says if he were allowed to attend the hearing, he could have corrected the mistakes, like the mother of the boy who was bitten saying Animal Services told her Precious had bit another person a year ago. Not true, says Scott.
There's never been a separate incident with her.
But technically there are 2 cases against Precious, because the bite case number was altered to create a new case number. Was it an honest mistake? Scott's suspicious.
There is something wrong here.
Scott doesn't know what's going on. In fact, doesn't even know if Precious is dead or alive.
Now refusing to allow me to see her, to know where she's at.
Scott says he just wants his dog back and will abide by any rules the county mandates. So Howard, you've looked at the case. Is the county allowed the right to do what they are doing?
No. First of all, it's terrible that this young boy got bit by the dog, but that does not give the county the right to violate the law. There are a lot of strange events in this case, but the more glaring one is denying Scott the basic right to tell what he saw when the dog bit the boy.
Animal Services told me they don't notify the dog owner of the court hearing to avoid the owner hiding the animal. I asked for all their records in this case. I got a lot, but they said certain records are being withheld under Florida law. I asked for proof Precious was still alive. I was told she was, but the county would not show me a picture or video. Then I was told, due to pending litigation, Animal Services has no further information to add.
We had filed an emergency motion for the return of the animal based on the things that I just told you.
As Scott walks past Animal Services, he wonders if Precious is even inside the building.
It's devastating. It's absolutely heartbreaking. I have to win.
Because if he doesn't win, Precious dies. Scott says he feels terrible for the boy. The family has made it clear they're going to sue Scott, and he understands. He just wants to get to court to get his dog back. We'll let you know what happens. With this help me, Howard and Patrick Frazier, 7 News.